get it.
Mbijan raganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, that's sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi manin domorol ni fana be teat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy o diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel ciosano lo.
Baraka.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302* data amount hash or go to your Yaiborum menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborum.
Alright.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
Don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Good afternoon and welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Lamin Cham, and this is our weekly look at current affairs and discussions about those very affairs that we call contemporary current issues.
This week, we will discuss, of course, about the extraordinary session in the National Assembly called to discuss the acute kidney injury outbreak that has affected 70 Gambian children, fatally that is, because there might be other cases that have either recovered or are still under treatment. We will also discuss that the government of the Gambia is now ready to discuss with America for the sale of a 25-hectare land for use as American embassy in the Gambia. We'll also look at what are the ramifications of the United Arab Emirates visa ban on 19 countries or 20 countries including the Gambia. What exactly is this mean? With me in the studio to discuss this is Kexx Sanneh, Kexx, very well known, an activist, journalist, you name it, who have a good grip on matters dealing with parliamentary functions. He hardly missed a sitting of even a committee or plenary in the National Assembly. I think only he can be credited, more even than some National Assembly members, for attending just everything that happened in the House. Yusuf Taylor of Gainako News, otherwise called Flex Dan, is equally very much au fait with matters that deals with national matters, especially on the Assembly matters. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure once again to be on this platform.
Good. Flex also is involved with an innovation, that is a parliamentary newsletter. We will discuss that also in this program. First though, let's go back to the couple of days when this extraordinary session was called to discuss the outbreak of the kidney injury disease that killed 70 kids and have been the major story in the news. The National Assembly called for an extraordinary session on it, and that happened last week. That is, of course, on Thursday, I guess. Now, all of us followed, of course, but then, of course, seemingly it looks like it started in chaos with the Speaker and one of the National Assembly members engaged in a standoff, leading, of course, to the temporary expulsion from that session, that is, of the Banjul South National Assembly member, Tumanjai. Well, so much comments have been made about it, but then, like I said, I have an expert in the parliamentary matters in the studio, in Kexx Sanneh. Kexx, so what exactly happened?
Thank you very much. Like you said, that was an extraordinary session that was called by the parliamentarian. And this was, according to the communication that was sent, it was signed by almost 1/3 of the members requesting for extraordinary session to look at the issue that is confronting the nation, and that's the health matter issue in terms of this kidney injury that has almost taken 70 lives of our young people. So when an extraordinary session was actually conveyed by the Speaker, and members went to the Parliament and to start the discussion. Normally, every parliamentarian, after tabling the motion or what was the reason of the extraordinary sessions, members are given opportunity to discuss about the issue or the motion that is tabled before. And this motion was tabled by the minority leader, Alaji Estabo of Brikamanot. So then from there, it was seconded by the majority leader, Biliji Tunkara. Then from there, every member was given an opportunity to discuss this matter, and they were restricted to 5 minutes, which most of the members, that's where even the chaos started, when they were actually restricted to 5 minutes for them to discuss.
They didn't like that?
No, some members are definitely said this is a national issue and nobody should be restricted. If you feel like you don't have anything to speak, just sit down. But this motion was actually raised by Amadou Kamara of Nyanija constituency.
He's also the committee on
health. Yes. So when he did that, actually Tumanjai was not actually pleased with this thing, and some of the members supported Tumas.
What was Tumas' displeasure? Is it about the 35 minutes thing? Or
yes,
that's where it started.
That's part of that was the beginning of the whole. So you feel like restricting them then will restrict them not to discuss the whole issue, and this is a national issue that our people are crying for and they need solution in regards to what is happening in terms of the death rate is increasing from one number to another, and now we are counting 70, and I think 5 minutes, giving them 5 minutes will not give them the opportunity.
Whose discretion was to limit them to that?
Actually, it was a motion. Like
it was
somebody just we get up by motion. That's Amadou Kamara.
To say it's 5 minutes.
He said that he recommended. He said he's raising a motion for the members to speak for 5 minutes on this debate, and it was seconded, and then the majority supported it. Then it went into vote, and almost majority supported it.
That it should be 5 minutes.
5 minutes is okay. Whereas minority didn't actually support it.
Minority wanted the discussions to be longer
than actually what was addressed on the table.
So what do you think would be the motive of the majority? That is, Amadou Kamara, of course, is maybe sympathetic to the majority side on that day. Why do you think would be their motive? Is it not nakedly politics? That, I mean, they don't want the authorities to be subjected to much scrutiny.
Yeah, actually, for me, extraordinary session, when you call extra, these are not just normal session, and you are paid for this, and it's not a small amount of money.
They are paid
even you sit for 1 hour or less than 1 hour, you are paid not less than $25,000 for each member. So this is not just a normal session that you should be in his, and this is a national issue. It's not just a normal issue. So if you could dedicate the whole day for this session, I think it is necessary, because this is about life and death. It's a matter of life and death. So I don't think there should be a restriction of people. If people want to express themselves as much as possible to come to the last conclusion or a solution to this problem, I think they should be given the opportunity to do this. And I think moving from, because majority leader former majority leader KK Barrow or even raised up and said that he will take this matter with the National Assembly, I don't know, they call it ethics committee or something like that. It's a committee, or I don't know. He named the committee that he will take up on this, because they are restricting them and they cannot express them. And this is a matter of national concern. He's not happy, but he will not discuss that in the plenary, because he was just given 5 minutes. So if he want to go into detail, then he will not.
So from the word go flex, it looks like the environment in the chamber at the time was that people such as the health committee chair, Kamara, probably was motivated by the fact that he didn't want these MPs to subject the matter to any longer or proper scrutiny, because apparently he probably may be in the first place not very much pleased with the fact that extraordinary Congress has been held. So politics at play. It looks like people who are in supportive of the government are not very keen on letting the people to express their opinions as much as possible.
Yeah,
it will look like to any observer.
I think this has been a pattern which we've been observing. If you can remember, in one of the previous sittings, there was some disagreements between some of the UDP parliamentarians and the speaker. And until now, they still insist that he should say, please. Every now and then, you will hear parliamentarians to say please sit down. That was Honorable Saho and Honorable Yaya Menteng Sanyang. And we publish this. Because
they said it should be insisted, please. Who should call them, please?
The speaker.
The speaker should address them.
Every now and then, he will say, sit down.
Or they ask him to say, please.
Yes, please.
But did he respect that now?
I think he eventually respected it in a way. I think in that instant he said, kindly sit down. Because we published that particular exchange.
Okay.
So which highlights that there is this back and forth between the speaker and some of the parliamentarians who feel that they are being restricted. They are not being allowed to fully express themselves. When they want to raise a motion, perhaps they feel that that motion is not taken into consideration as it should be.
By the speaker.
Yes, by the speaker. So I think that has been one of the challenges. But I think it all came to a head-on, just so that it's very clear. It all came to a head-on, even though there was that at the beginning. It all came to a head-on when, because Honorable Sidi Njai made some comments during his deliberations.
Okay.
And with regards to the essence and purpose of the extraordinary session. He even opined that the session was to thank the Ministry of Health officials and the workers for the speedy manner in which they addressed the issue.
Did he thank them in his individual capacity, or he said the session was to thank them?
That's what he was saying. And of course, and then he also highlighted that the signing, because during the process of trying to get the extraordinary session, you need 1/3. So parliamentarians are canvassing support from all parliamentarians. That's what normally happens. So you can get the number.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the 1/3, you will not be able to call the extraordinary session. So CD also pointed out that the majority leader was not afforded the opportunity to sign that document.
Well, his contention was the majority leader did not see the motion. He saw something different.
Yeah, he did not see. He was not given the opportunity to be part of those lists.
Yes,
and to sign.
He said the motion was not given to the majority leader. It was some sort of a letter. And I think the majority leader himself confirmed that he didn't see the motion.
Yeah, so I think what I was coming to is that was there at the beginning. And they highlighted that. But for Tuma, I believe that she believes that's not the case. Okay. That all parliamentarians were afforded the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, to be very frank, all of us knew what was coming.
Yes, we were told that there's going to be an
Yes.
They work on them.
They are working on it. So I'm shocked that a parliamentarian can come also to say that they are not aware of that. That's very, very surprising to me. I find it hard to believe, and that's it's actually negligent.
But he didn't. The majority leader did not say specifically that he was opposed to calling the extraordinary Congress. He said, rather session. He said, and CD said, he actually did not see the motion.
Yes,
it was something else that they were taking around to be signed. What does
so
that mean?
Normally what they are canvassing the number of votes, parliamentarians, to get that 1/3. That's the most important critical thing.
Okay.
And it is that which they are using around, and we've got the document, which they share to us, of those who signed.
And what is the significance of that document?
So the importance is that once you get the 1/3, then the speaker will have to act on it, and then the extraordinary will come. So there was the concern he was raising was that opportunity wasn't afforded to the majority.
I see.
Yes, and in fact,
and Tuma said when the majority leader seconded the motion for nothing,
she found that hypocritical.
Found that to be hypocritical.
Yes, she found that to be hypocritical.
Yes, and said, well, you were among the people who objected in the first place
to be part of it. So can you see where this is going?
So, but what was the contention was? What was put to the majority leader was not the real motion, was something else.
No, but
can you enlighten us? That's what they said.
That's what they said. I'm not too sure about the specifics of that, but I think that all is being developed. And the final motion, which was eventually moved, was the more detailed, which includes the TOR, etc. But, I think I would say that really, for me, is not really an
argument. So Tumas' contention was, there you are now, you want to show the public now that you care. You care, when in the first place you didn't want this to happen.
So, yes.
But for me, I have a problem with that. The moment you didn't append your signature onto that motion for the extraordinary session to be conveyed, that means that you are not in support of it.
Exactly.
So whatever document was being served, if you don't have your
pen on it, you sign it that you are approving for an extraordinary session, then that means that you didn't approve, because if they didn't have the number, there would be no extraordinary.
Exactly.
Those who try to convince other people until they get it 1/3, did tremendous. So if you refuse and you are a member of, because I know that must be communicated, because anything there's a picking hole that every member of the
all of them
have it. When they have anything to communicate, they just put it in your picking hole for you to see that this is a document that needs your attention. So you go through it and advise. So it will be very funny if you say that you didn't see or you didn't have the opportunity, unless you are out of the jurisdiction of this country. But as far as you are here, committee sessions were going and you were coming to Parliament, and it's duty bound on you to check on your picking holes at every time to know what document is there, because that's your job to be informed, because they can't go to your house because they don't have a specific office in the National Assembly whereby you can communicate to their secretary and other things. So they rely on that picking holes to communicate to the National Assembly member. So the moment you refuse to append your signature on this thing, for me, I feel like you were not in support of this extraordinary session. That's the point.
And the majority leader did not put his signature.
That's what Tuma said. That he said that he was.
Okay, if Tuma was right, did she too express this in a civilized language? I mean, the contention of the speaker was Tuma's language did not come with decorum. You cannot call pretty nakedly lie. He said the house is more honorable for such language. He said he wanted decorum and respect for each
sanity.
other. So did he have a point there, Fabaka? Did the speaker?
Yes, I agree with him.
You agree?
To some extent. Of course, I don't think that is it's not what you call parliamentary language. In parliament.
So Tuma could have said, no, I disagree.
Yes, she could have highlighted
and argued like Kexx argued how that wouldn't have been possible.
Yes, but like she said, she is a woman, and not only a woman, a mother, and of 6 children. So it resonated to her. I'm not making an excuse, but it is not parliamentary language. I can feel the hurt, which she probably resonates with them. Everybody had her in her submission. So, but clearly there's a better way of putting your
There's a better
thoughts
way.
in.
There could have been a better way.
Yes.
And she was given the opportunity to withdraw that.
Yes. I think
she insisted she was going to call it a naked lie.
Yes, perhaps the issue is that she had already given her submission. If she hadn't given her submission, I want to believe that she might have withdrawn to stay and give her submission.
Couldn't she have said, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, but that's how I know it. Okay, let me put it another way. I do not agree that the majority leader did not see this.
No, that should be the trend. Like, parliaments are not just an open place. It is guided by law, and that's the standing order that guides every parliamentarian. And also from the side of the deputy speaker, it is very clear on the standing order that you should not input any motive or trying to blame somebody when you are debating on an issue. And you could see that it was like some members were actually insulting the minister, and they should apologize to the minister. Now that means you are imputing a motive. That person that was actually not parliamentary.
So he was taking brief for the minister.
And that was not parliamentary. But Atumatu, there is the standing order. If you go there, section 21(2)d, it tells you that there are a language that you can use in parliament. There are parliamentary language. If you go beyond that language, the speaker must tell you to withdraw that statement, and you should accept that's what the standing order says. Failure to do that, then the speaker can act on the powers vested on him and call the sergeant on arm to sack you out if you refuse not to go out. So Tuma was asked, and the speaker followed the due process of the standing order by asking her to withdraw the statement, and she could have used a better statement that, okay, what you are saying is incorrect. Those are parliamentary language, but still now you mean you are lying. But the word line is not an improper parliamentary language, and even though we know the frustration that is there, but when you go to in terms of laws and what are guiding the parliament, it is improper. It should not be said in parliament. Parliament is a very respectable institution, and I think we should be very mindful of the words that we use, because it's duty of every National Assembly member to protect the image of the National Assembly. So using such language will not actually help us in terms of having a proper parliament, because this is where the laws are made, and the whole nation, just that the standard of Gambia, but in other parts of the world, everybody glued to their TV when parliaments are, because this is where it's the heart of the nation, where every issue of the country is discussed. So we expected that language that we should be used should be confined with our morals and society. So this is why we have a standing order.
So the speaker was right. It wasn't too harsh a decision to ask Tuma out of this session, because, I mean, she was given an opportunity to withdraw the statement and perhaps argue in a more decorum, in a manner that has more decorum. The speaker is very concerned that we should show respect to each other by always having decorum in how we communicate. So Tuma was given a chance to do that. She flatly refused, and she was asked to go. So eventually, the speaker was not. That action was not too harsh. It was a fitting. How to call it? A fitting decision for Tuma's rebellious posture on that matter.
Yeah, actually, the
she may have felt very bad, definitely.
Yeah, but the speaker actually didn't. Just he said, withdraw or you leave. So Tima chose not to withdraw, leave. So it was not actually even the speaker sending him out.
It was actually
she chose not to withdraw and just leave the parliament and go with her head high.
So was she playing heroism? Or was she felt too bad about it? Or it's just the depth to which she felt about the issue being trivialized, when actually, as he said, it's a very serious matter.
Indeed.
So
probably,
I'm sure she'll be the best person to answer that. But I think other NAMs have been given this opportunity to withdraw, and they've taken it in almost all the instances in this new 6th legislature. And I think that would be the best way to go.
Okay.
Even if they say withdraw, you can just rephrase your statement.
Yes, yes.
You don't even have to, you know, I rephrase my statement and, you know, you just put it in, I withdraw my earlier statement and rephrase and put it across so that at least everybody knows what you feel like.
Okay.
And I think that's the best way to go because other people are looking.
Yeah.
And they are saying internationally,
yes,
this is what happening in Gambia Parliament.
Parliament.
And normally we're not like some of these other parliaments where you know they take out. It's like fighting seriously. Yeah. You know, very contentious. So I think we should be pleased that for us, even something like this is a big issue. Yeah. In other parliament, they take the mace. You know, normally
they do.
There's that staff there.
Even more drama.
Somebody will take the mace, go and start.
There's always more drama.
Turn it into something crazy.
Okay. Yeah. So now, all right. Once that chaos was established, Tuma was asked out. They got into business. Now, what have they achieved according to your observation by calling on these things? Also, what next?
I think really, for me, what they've achieved is that they have emotion, which now is tasking the committees, and that's the health committee and the defense committee. Is it only those two?
No, it was like to make it a joint committee.
Yeah, those I think they were going to add the gender, but the gender is not part of it anymore.
Okay.
So the gender is also chaired by Honorable Tumanjai.
Wow.
So they were supposed to be part of this committee to look at this. They are no longer part of it. So as you can see, now they have a motion which they have passed, and there's.
So they're supposed to be part of this motion.
No. So the motion which was passed is for the committee to investigate.
Oh, okay.
This Aki issue.
Okay. So she's definitely so then her committee will have to work on.
Our committee was supposed to be.
But it's no longer there.
There were 3 committees that were supposed to be part of it. Health committee is one. You also have the defense committee. And then the gender and women and children. Yes. It's also supposed to be part of it. That one is no longer part of it.
Because of her behavior?
No, I don't think it's because of her behavior per se.
So
the parliament just decided.
But then her committee is much more apt.
I believe her committee should be part of it.
Committee is number one.
And that committee is about children also.
Yes, about
so I think that committee should have been part of it. But you're asking, just to answer your question, the motion now that they have adopted is for this committee to come together, the 2 committees, and they will investigate. They have a TOR, which is all part of the motion, and it tells you what they are supposed to do. So that is what is going to happen, and then they will finish, they will investigate, and they will table a report, and then they will take that going forward in the plenary. And
but you find it curious that her committee, which is very important, is not included.
Yeah, committee is not.
Was supposed to be included. Kexx,
actually, it was heated debate. Not actually, even when Tuma left, this member for Parliamentary constituency, Fatou Cham, actually argue very well that this is an issue that is affecting the children of this country, and having a committee that is tasked to look at the affairs of the children and gender and other things should be part of the committee, like they did during the COVID-19 time. It was a joint task force, a joint committee that investigate the whole issue of COVID-19, looking at the borders, whether the restrictions and all the supports that are coming on in terms of fundings. They bring committees of FPAC was there, you have the defense there, you have the health committee there. So it was a joint committee, and they recommended this one to be, since it deals with so many issues, and health committee will only look at the health aspect of it, so that this part will look at the aspect of what is affecting the children, what are the family living after this issue. So they want it to be a joint committee, but this was actually not accepted, and it was a heated debate between the speaker and the member for Parliamentary, and which definitely for me, I feel like speaker was actually taking part in the debate. And if you look at the standing orders, the speaker is not allowed to take part in the debate, because he's there to preside. Like if somebody is living the way you guide him, you have to confine yourself with.
So would it not be valid to suggest that it's because of her argument with Tuma that probably led to him deciding, or some other people there deciding not to have her committee in the final investigations?
Perhaps this begs the question: what would have happened if she had just apologized and just continued?
But should we just be
withdrawn. Sorry,
vindictive, you know, just
no,
because
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm not excusing that action at all. I, in my view, feel that committee should have definitely been part of it.
Because they are gender.
Yes,
they are
children.
Yeah.
Yes.
It deals with them more.
And specifically, it's not just gender. Gender children are also there.
Okay.
And social welfare. So that is very critical to have a gender lens and to the children also to be part of that.
Indeed.
So, but the speaker decided, and as like Kexx said, I actually didn't watch the whole entire
decided not to do it.
He decided,
even when Fatou Cham argued that it should be there.
Yeah, Fatou Cham, when they argued that, the speaker was like, okay, we have already passed this, you know, people just argue, because it was put into a vote and it was not clear. And if it is not clear, the standing order is asking you that you should take head counts. You should count those who support the vote. This procedure was
that was not done.
That was not followed. And the speaker said, okay, no, it's there. You know, what is the essence? This health committee has already started this, and which I have problem with it in terms of why even the extraordinary session. Because this committee, prior to even convening the meeting, they have already started. They were communicating what they have done in the committee stage. Because already there is a committee that is established to call on any minister. If
I think they call the minister.
Yes, you call the ministers, even the pharmacy council, they call them. So they have the facts with them. So I expected that when they were calling the extraordinary session, they should come with facts before the National Assembly members with recommendation that this is what we will take. But you cannot call an extraordinary just that, okay, we are informing you that we want to establish an investigation team into the demand. That doesn't warrant for me an extraordinary, because you have already power
done something
in the standing orders that, you know, if an issue is, you have the power to go and investigate that matter and report to the plenary. So you could have just used that committee and just do your investigation. Has you started it already? Because it was started, and if you look at the minutes of that committee that they have, and you compare with the motion that was tabled, they are almost the same. So that means that what you did at the committee stage is what you are discussing in the plenary. So for me, you know, just calling a one-day extraordinary session and again go and do your investigation. Now have your facts again and come back, and you will see that it restricts even the members because they don't have the facts. So they could not debate on the issue. But hadn't been that you have done your investigation and you have the facts, and you now report the facts to them, then members will have time to interrogate all those stuff, because now they have the facts. They are not just speculating. But what was debated in the parliament was more of the street talk that me and you were doing on the internet.
And
that this is A, B, C,
they're supposed to be much more informed than
all
through their parliamentary committee on health.
So I think it was a waste of time.
Indeed.
And the reason why
and resources, since they are paid $25,000.
I believe it was a waste of time and resources because although the extraordinary session for me was needed, there are key questions that cannot wait, that need answers. For example, parliamentarians should have been able to interrogate. Everybody is saying that they are saying 1 million is what they are going to put forward to go.
There was a letter leaked online that 1 million, not as compensation, but they said it was.
Let them bring it. Let them clarify.
The people who are going to greet the people
let them clarify.
Will have to go with 1 million.
Let them clarify what is that supposed. This is why. This is why.
Yeah.
This is why something. These are kind of urgent things, and these things will happen before the end of this. The report comes back.
Whatever investigation.
Thank you. Parliamentarians, I think, have a big job to do. They missed a huge opportunity here. Parliament is supposed to do what? Oversight over the executive. Government has come out with a statement saying that they are going to do X, Y, and Z and Y.
And you did not.
And what are they doing with regards to demanding that somebody comes to provide to them an update as to where they are with those things that they said that they are going to do? There are urgent things that need to be done. How many children? Can Parliament not demand that the Ministry of Health should be every week? In other countries, in a disaster like this, every week they must tell us what is going on. You must call a press conference to update people what is happening. You know, I think Parliament, there are lots of opportunities. And when I say oversight, I expected, this is a very simple exercise. I expected every parliamentarian to have digested what has the Ministry of Health said. There are some things which are also happening, and even the government, the executive said that they are going to create a commission to investigate this thing.
Yes.
Is that commission going to be answerable to Parliament?
Nothing like that was discussed.
You see, these are the kind of things which I expected them to check. The resolutions which National Human Rights Commission, Parliament should be very smart and wise and aware to know what is happening. They are playing an oversight role. National Human Rights Commission has put an ultimatum to the Ministry of Health in a letter demanding that within 30 days they must tell them what is going on. This is the kind of affirmative action you expect from our parliamentarians. What has the Ministry of Health, this is Parliament now speaking to the Ministry of Health. NHRC has sent you a letter demanding X, Y, and Z for you to do. And they said within 30 days. Check the calendar and see. We're almost reaching that 30 days. Where are you with that? And make sure that you respond and we endorse their recommendations wholeheartedly. You know, even if it is not wholeheartedly, they need to put it to them. Oversight function is not necessarily just, I think one of the most key important things about oversight function is having visibility.
Yes.
As to what the other institutions are doing. The demands, the promises which they are making.
And then using your powers
to compel them.
Compel them
to meet those demands. If those demands are met, trust me, many of these problems will be resolved.
Indeed. But then how can you do this? Well, in the first place, each parliamentarian is given only 5 minutes.
This is the problem.
That's the bottom line. Like I said, like the whole idea of having this extra session, for me, you just look at the ministers when he came to respond. You know, he was like, the speaker was like, the minister is not coming to respond to it because we are not going into the details of the whole issue because we don't have the facts with us. So he will just come and brief like he did during his press conference. That's the same thing that was communicated to us. So we didn't know actually what we heard from the minister is that, but hadn't mean that you have all these things, then you will have even, he will have answered some of the facts that you have.
At least he said this time around, which he didn't do at the press conference, that some greedy people are behind the outbreak.
And I would expect a parliamentarian to ask, who are those greedy people? The last time the Minister of Health came to the National Assembly, and he said that similarly corrupt people are there.
Yeah, he never named them.
And until now, Parliament has not asked him to provide a list of who these people are. These people are inside your ministry. You are telling us that there are some people. This is the second time. You are telling us that there are some people who are there, and they are the corrupt people. So who are those people?
He now said there are, his own words, greedy people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
And minister should not come
He
to
didn't
Parliament.
name them.
He should come with facts before the Parliament. The minister should not just come with speculation or just leave in that. If you say that there are, you should provide the Parliament with the names of those people. How was it done? You are the head of that institute, but you cannot just come and just leave it blankly. Okay, there are greedy people then you are, because you are the minister who is tasked to regulate that institution. So you should not just come to the Parliament and just give them a blanket, there are greedy people, and that's the end of it. And Parliament doesn't even push to tell you that, okay, provide us this list. Like when it's come on the retirement of this impress.
Yes.
What did they provide? All the list of all the people that were there.
Yes.
To the Parliament, and the Parliament also make a recommendation that within a period of time we want to recover all this.
Ending tomorrow. Maybe next week we should check on that. Whether anybody has paid it so far.
Indeed.
Some people have come out and said they did not take it.
They didn't take it.
This is good. Let them tell us.
Let us tell us why.
Yeah.
So all these things are, because even me, some people reach out to me that during this time I was in mile 2. So how can I pay that I was not actually receiving something until the change of government. So all these things are issues. So what
the government came out to say that most of the impressed were taken before President Barrows came to power, and which of course the opposition condemned.
No, definitely.
I must add, you know, the speaker said that we want sanity. We want sanity in this country.
Yeah, that's what the speaker said.
We expect Speaker, National Assembly members to bring sanity in this country. Corruption is out of control. What should normally happen is that the Minister of Health should say, there are greedy, corrupt people, here they are, and these are the actions that we have taken. That is what should happen in any sane country.
Yeah.
We don't have a sane country. We don't have a list. They don't tell us what action have been taken. This country will need serious changes. And it is parliamentarians who can make sure that this thing is dealt with.
And talking about parliamentarians, even though it came from an opposition supporter, somebody said he feared that the parliament is under threat because the speaker is seen to be too powerful, exercising powers that are far beyond his limitations. He's been dictatorial, trying to intimidate especially the least experienced National Assembly members, pushing them to submission and foregoing their rights. And they are the elected ones when the speaker is just a nominated one. The speaker, of course, had said he always look for national interest, and he doesn't go for partisan. He always preached non-partisan procedure. That's what he wanted. But this guy accused him, and I must say this guy is from the opposition, accused him of being dictatorial in the terms, in the way he controlled things, always trying to secretly protect the executive in parliamentary deliberations.
Well,
and then of course they accuse him that being a former assembly member, an influential one, under this same constitution, they believe he mastered all the loopholes that can be used to his disposal to rule as an autocrat in the National Assembly. He had always denied that. But did you as observers, you know, agree that the speaker sometimes acted dictatorially, trying to intimidate or control and even limit the participation of elected members? Is that true?
Well, we've seen, as I've said, we've documented differences between the, especially with the, let's be clear, this is, Parliament is politics.
Absolutely, it's politics.
Politics full swing.
Yes.
100%.
So he cannot say...
this is politics. So the issue is, in our constitution, the president can have 5 National Assembly members.
Yes.
One of which is the speaker. We even saw he tried to fire one of his nominated members in the 5th legislature.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
So now the parliamentarians who are nominated know that once they have been
taken
up, they have free reign to do what they want to do.
So no matter how a speaker can preach, no matter how, you know, he preaches for impartiality, etc., at the end of the day, the concept is that he is there to protect the executive.
No, but this is the
He can never run away from that.
But you see, let's look at it. Parliament is there to hold the executive to account.
Yes.
There is, in my view, we have advocated this. Now I'm talking as an advocate. In my view, there is no place for the executive to have 5 parliamentarians free. 5 is 9% of the members. Already 9% added to what you've already got. And that is, we were analyzing the parliament when it just come true. And that is, for me, it gives the executive more influence of the parliament. And that is what is at play. It's politics.
Politics, absolutely.
So we've seen that in the last term, in the 5th legislature, it's similarly, at the beginning, it was very much so, until there were some fallouts. Politics, again, at play between the executive and the UDP. And towards the end, you could see that the speaker was quite coming out, you know, with some very strong action, which people were saying, where was all of this in the beginning? So politics is at play. And we all know Honorable Fabakary Tambang Jatta does toe the line of the executive. In the last, when he was the majority speaker, he tabled the state of emergency bill to extend the term of the executive and the parliament. You see, by extension. And that thwarts democratic vote of the Gambian people. So, which is, you could argue, that is clearly an autocratic move that which he has done. So, this is his backdrop. This is his...
So you want to say, as his critics say, that given his reputation, he suddenly would not be a good speaker, that would be one who will be seen to be fair.
Yeah, for me, you know, I have a problem with members, because the standing order is very clear. What are the powers of a speaker, and it's limited. It's not just a blanket one. For me, I feel like members are not going through the standing orders to understand that the speaker has a limitation in parliament.
So the speaker has limitations. So this commentator will say the speaker cannot be seen to be more powerful.
He cannot join the debate, definitely.
He cannot
join the debate.
Referee.
And those Fabakary joined debates.
Yeah, because this was raised on 2 occasions by, one was Janjambure, the member for Janjambure. Umar said that, Honorable Speaker, you were, actually you are taking part in the debate. And the second one was Honorable Suebu Ture of
Doi.
So
that's independent and that's Doi.
Yeah, so he said that you are taking part in the debate, and the standing order does restrict you to take part if you want that. And he was like, no, I'm not, but if I want, then I can just leave my seat and I allow the deputy speaker to come, then I becomes a member. Then the deputy speaker will go.
And there's not in the standing order.
No, that's like if you want to
can
take
do
part,
that.
then you can allow this speaker. As far as you are not on that chair, then you are on the floor. Then
You can participate.
You are just a normal member.
So he's prepared to do that.
He's hinting that
he's telling that he said when the circumstances push him,
He will do that.
situation, he will definitely.
But will he come back to speak again?
No, that's all. That's so.
Yes, for that session.
But I think
for
the
that
members-
session.
yeah.
Yes,
So,
okay.
but members should actually look at their standing orders, and if the speaker is going beyond what the law permits
should be
him,
called.
they should call him and insist. People hold
March
caucus.
out, yes.
No, you hold caucus. You stand and you stand. You speak until the whole day. You don't sit down until the laws of the standing order is respected.
Obeyed, yes.
So your speaker cannot just you leave him just like because he's the speaker and he's there. Say, keep quiet, even his law. You ask him why, based on which law. You cannot just tell me to keep quiet when you don't have basis. You must tell me that it's under the standing order that you are telling me to sit down.
Yes.
But you cannot just sit down just because of you want. No. But I see times.
Sawakar does that.
Yes, I see people. They tell them sit down when you raise on a standing order. That's
And
the
they
law,
sit-
and they sit down. And that's the law that is giving you that opportunity. So I think the members they don't affirm themselves with their own law that is
There's a
governed.
lot of capacity problem
indeed.
also, understanding this.
Mastering the standing orders to know that
mastering the
yeah,
standing orders. Yeah.
I think when we looked at it, there out of the 53 elected NAMs, there are about 33 who are new, and only 20 are re-elected. So, majority
for 13 or so, I said are completely new.
So 33.
No, you mean 33 are new.
33 are new.
Complete new, fresh comers.
Yes, newcomers.
Oh, from either side, from all sides.
Yes, they are new parliamentarians. This is the first time.
I see.
And then 20
that's
of them.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah, that's more, just more than, that's 33 is more. And then 20 parliamentarians are re-elected.
Yeah.
When we were looking at those who were elected for the second term or third or whatever terms.
So it's not very much dictatorial attitude of the speaker, but a problem with lack of understanding of what the rights are for some National Assembly members.
It's a mix.
Perhaps
it's a mix.
Rely on the ignorance of some of the members and just say,
but speaker know that these people are ignorant, they don't know their rights, so I can push them to
and members do not.
For me, come on, how many parliamentarians are there? And there is one speaker, and the deputy speaker. If you want to say, let's count them too.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that they have different, you could say, affiliations or leanings in parliament, which is normal. But all of them should be able to argue to make sure. I think there's a motion or a statement was highlighted by Honorable Kerr. He's one of the most seasoned parliamentarians.
Yeah.
He said that the Assembly, is it this Standing Orders Committee? The Standing Orders Committee, they are the ones who look at the standing orders and make recommendations with regards to standing orders. Should look into this issue about restricting parliamentarians for
a limited time.
For a limited time frame and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Now, the problem we have a divided parliament. That's the fact. And if things come from this other side, these people say that we should not support it. But for me, the law is very clear that every parliamentarian must be guided. Your concern must guide you and the national interest. This is what is the standard.
Found a problem.
And that is the problem. But like people think that okay, it's from the other
from the other side. Naturally, we are
opposing it. Even it's violating the laws of the standing orders. People do. If not, there are certain things that are happening. All of them could have just stood up and said that no, this is wrong.
Absolutely.
And they all decided not to
take part. So there is
still,
Flex, according to him, there is still a problem with differentiating what is national interest and partisan interest.
Oh yes.
And ironically, this is what the speaker always tried to preach.
Yeah, and I
am surprised that he himself is seen to be playing politics sometimes, or seen to be a dictator or intimidating the fresh ones, the freshmen as we call them.
Unfortunately, it is costly. This partisanship costs us time and money. Parliamentarians are busy debating, oh, you did not give us the to sign to be part of it. Is that why we are calling an extraordinary session? We are calling an extraordinary session so you parliamentarians will scrutinize the authorities with regards to this and what is happening. Fire them questions. Ask them. Because, for example, they say that they have suspended the people who are given licenses. Suspended? You mean to tell me you haven't revoked Language is important.
Absolutely.
You must revoke it. And what action are you taking to take them to court? These people have killed, and their negligence has caused death. Absolutely. Even if it is manslaughter, even if you don't want to say murder. This is, this is very serious. They should have not only revoked these licenses of these people, they should have named them, shamed them.
In fact, as somebody argued, authorities in the health ministry should really leave their positions. Yes. People who should have oversight. Because the health minister argued that he did not feel necessary or important for him to resign because he believed that resignation is the easy way out of it. And there are people who call him that you can't leave this ship at this place now. That's what his argument is. Now most people's argument is that, okay, you have the pharmacy council, you have the medical control agency, you have the same people who are supposed to regulate the industry. You see them violating the very rules by not supervising pharmacies using their license. The law said they should be there every 4 hours. And some of them are renting 3 licenses. 12 hours they should be supervising. And they are sitting in that office also as executive in those offices. You see all that, and yet you say nothing is wrong. There's no need for anybody to resign.
Definitely. This is
so
why
that's where the moral question is there. You are presiding, you already admitted you presided over flagrant violations.
Indeed.
That brought these issues, yet you said, well, I think if we leave it now, it will be worse. It can never be worse than now.
That's why I have a problem with seeing members taking the floor of the parliament and praising the Ministry of Health.
Ignorance.
I was like, seriously, when 70 dead, 70 lives have gone.
Total ignorance.
When 71 life has gone, you should not press anybody rather than to demand question what was the problem of the. But I see members taking the floor. We thank the minister for their time in the intervention.
Total ignorance.
When 70 lives have gone. I feel like
through negligence,
pure negligence.
Flagrant violation of the rules that have been laid out. Those who are supposed to regulate have rented their license. The law said they should spend 4 hours in each of those stores where their licenses are rented, and yet they are sitting also in this office 12 hours as regulators.
Indeed.
One more suffer.
Yes, sir.
One more suffer.
Indeed.
And what suffered is that the pharmacists were selling contaminated drugs, and everybody who came in contact with the drugs died.
Every now and then you will
That's
just
what happened.
They will shut down a pharmacy.
And you said nobody should be responsible.
Yeah. Every now and then they will shut down a pharmacy temporarily.
Temporarily. The same people
and
who
the same pharmacy, if you go and you check, they will operate again eventually, very soon.
Some people whose license have been rented, the law said they should be there for every 4 hours. Some are even out of the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Out of the country.
They just give it to you. I know one lance in the
out of the country.
6 people are using that one. Whether
yet you say nobody should pay any price.
Even the temperature where the drugs should be stored, whether they are
in the right temperature.
And this you find it, the heat temperature is above the requirement where the medicine should be stored. And nobody's regulating these things.
And medicines are not things child's play, because they are death and life. Who knows that there are other species of medicines that we are taking are contaminated? Nobody can know.
So in the meantime, while we are waiting for them to get to the bottom of it, God knows what other damage is being done.
Who knows other varieties of medicines, because since there is no quality control, do we even know that the medicines that we are consuming are themselves contaminated?
And I found
there was no way to know it.
And only
the people who should have work on it are themselves operating licenses.
And you see the Red Cross has to take the voluntary to go to the provinces to look at every store. When we have an institution who is taxed to do that, paid for, Red Cross is just a voluntary institution.
If Red Cross come across a contaminated drug in a house, they pick it up. Yeah. They don't bother whether anybody has consumed that. Yeah. They should probably collect data. Yeah. Who has been consuming this? Take that child to immediate attention. Probably is taken it. But then collecting it and didn't tell us how many have come in contact with it. What is the efficacy?
I don't know if I think this is important. Some 5 family members confronted the Minister of Health outside Parliament shortly after he delivered his speech. Our reporter was there, Idrissa Jallo, who is the project manager for this Gambia Parliamentary newsletter, when he captured the moment, an exchange between the family members, bereaved family members, and the Minister of Health, who really, to his credit, tried to console the family members. It brought everything to life, you get to see these people are hurt. Some of them, until now, they are still living in shock. You know, it's a very, very unfortunate issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard not to know that a death could have been avoided. It's very hard to know if you have to take that to realize that, on the whole, this thing died unnecessarily, could have been avoided.
And even the families were not pleased because after the session, they were all there, all the family members. But they said, what was the essence of even them come? Because they think that their issues had been addressed. At least they hear something that can give them at least a relief. But what was discussed is more of what was just on the social media. All of us were discussing, these people die, why should we do this? This was the just normal debate that we have. And we believe that the parliamentarians should have given these people assurance that we are ready for this and we must reach to the bottom of it. And whoever is found wanting must fully force force of the law. And the company that brought this thing, we will make sure that we use the international link or whatever to make sure that we prosecute the person, and he has to compensate all the families that are affected. These are the words that will at least give brief to the, and these are the steps that are taken by other parts of the world.
At least if the executive failed them, parliament failed them, they are going to the courts. At least that's what we had. They may be going to the courts.
Indeed. And what they've done, why again I said they wasted time. When you as parliamentarians come to parliament, there is not the bantabar to be talking to each other.
You should have
exchanging to each other.
You should have taken
positions. If you want to talk to each other, go and talk about to each other during the break.
Streets, yes.
Or later on when you're having breakfast or during lunch. You are there. You are calling ministers to come. Or put questions that you think that this committee, which is you are tasking to do this job, that you want them to interrogate. This is, I believe, at least one questions to the ministries, to the officials. This is what the Gambian people expected from them. Fire questions to these officials. Scrutinize them. If you've expired that one, fire questions which you want to be addressed by the committee. Because if you fail to do that now, what will end up happening, and you are not part of those committees, you cannot ask those questions. The committee will do its work with their questions from the committee members that are there. They will gather the report, interrogate, investigate, come out with their findings, and when the report is tabled, you might come and see that, I had a question for the minister which hasn't been answered. Yes, it hasn't been answered because at that time, instead of for you to fire your question to the minister or fire your question to the committee to interrogate it, you were busy going back and forth between you and another parliamentarian.
I think when it comes to poor quality in parliament, we should also blame not just the political parties but the voters. Educate them that, look, always go for the quality representative, not what your party wants you to, whom your party wants to elect. As the electors, we must elect people we know have the capacity to be able to deliver the functions of a parliamentarian. Whether or not they belong, they are the ones chosen by our political parties. I mean, that is what we should learn from all these things. The people must control the political parties and not the political party or party leaders controlling the electorate. No, because they're going to give you robust representatives, and at the end of the day, things like this will happen.
And we didn't.
They cannot represent you effectively. The whole nation suffers.
And you cannot
because of the kind of people you send there to represent them, because they've been given to you by your political party.
And you don't recall them because there must be an act of parliament that they should put into place whereby you can recall a parliamentarian if the person. Up to now,
do you know that since I became, when I was a student, there's hardly a parliament in the Gambia or parliamentarians in the Gambia whose names and constituencies I have not mastered. But since up to now, there are others I barely know. Because they don't even talk.
So you barely know.
I barely know them. And now should be the time. It will be much easier to recognize an MP, because there are a lot of forums that they can be had. They can be had. But the qualities are just too poor. I don't want to take sides, but imagine some of the MPs. You can, if I go that way, they will have taken. But it's sad. All right, let's now talk about, since we are dealing with parliamentary, you working on a newsletter. And I think this newsletter, in fact, can be very important in terms of educating the parliamentarians. But when you say parliamentary newsletter, what do you mean?
So it's a newsletter, it's an innovation, a platform, because we see that Parliament is so important, and we wanted to create a platform which journalists and practitioners like Kexx and the others who are working for different media houses to be able to have one platform where every month we publicize a newsletter. And this newsletter, it works as a feedback mechanism. So at the back, not only do we show in the front and throughout what is happening in Parliament in that month, we also show what the public are doing when they're engaging parliamentarians, what they want their parliamentarians to also do for them, to table, to pass, to adopt. And we bring that at the back, which is the voice of the nation. So, yeah, we're not only going ahead, we are inviting Kerr Fatou, journalist. I think there is one of your journalists who I always see, and in Parliament. Yes. And
Buba Landing. Or
yes, Jawo.
Fatou.
Yes, Fatou, yes.
Okay.
And,
Ramatullah, sorry.
Exactly,
Ramatullah. Oh, yeah, Ramatullah.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, we're expecting some support also from the public. If they can help us, we'll be very, very grateful.
So how frequent will it be published?
So every month we publish.
Oh, every month?
Yes, but at the, also on social media, we have a page which we do publish on social media, things as they are happening, sometimes live, sometimes we just publish what's happening. Interesting.
Actually, I feel this newsletter to be very interesting because in this country, we have a problem of keeping records of what actually happens. Sometimes, you know, you have bills or some arguments that happens, you want to make reference or you want to revise them. Sometimes it's difficult to get access to it. But with this newsletter, almost they bring everything that happens in a particular session. So at the end of the day, when you want to make a reference or you want to go back, it is very easy to go to their website or either to the booklet. If you are having it, your monthly subscription, or you are doing it, it will be very easy to track, to know that, okay, this was what happens in AB when they table this bill, and this were the arguments of them, because it's very detailed. And I think every Gambian should actually support the initiative, because it will help us to track some of our national members, and I think they have where they are profiling every national what you are doing.
Isn't that not what parliamentary media should supposed to do? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's what media.
I think Parliament has a media unit.
Oh, they have their, yes, they do, but that's their media.
Their media.
Yeah, and
again, you suspect as that they could be partisan.
Not necessarily partisan, but they will be the Parliament's media would be putting out, you know, pro-parliamentary information.
Yes.
For example, we will report about the, you know,
the altercation between the speaker and Tuma.
You don't expect the Parliament.
But that's what they're supposed to do.
No, but they will not promote that. Like, to be very frank to you, they will not promote that. They will not publish it.
They will not be encouraged.
No, they will not encourage that.
If they do that, they will be given the book.
So, but you know the important thing, at the end of the 5-year term, we anticipate that this will be a tool that one can use. What was my parliamentarian doing throughout this 5-year term? You can easily come and see X, Y, and Z. You know, we go to parliamentarians, even to, like the last time I was there with Kexx, we went to Honorable Suleiman Jamme of Bundunka Kunda constituency, and the road, the Bundung road, both of us were there, and we published it. You can see.
Yes, and in fact we produced that.
Yes.
We reproduced that. That was good.
So those are the kind of things to help.
Track their oversight funds, so not only that, because they have what we call constituency allowance.
Exactly.
So how do they invest that? At the end of the day, with this newsletter, we'll tell you, because if Suleiman Sawa give a borehole, these guys will say that they will capture it, because we make sure that we ask them how much, what have they done to the so you will track that amount of money that is allocated at the end of the year, how much has my MP pumped back to the community. If not, you can hold him accountable, because that was not meant for his pocket, but it's meant for the pumping it back to the community. So these are instruments that we can use as reference.
How do one get it?
Yes, you can get a free copy electronically online.
Oh, at where? At what address?
Gainaco.
Gainaco.com.
Yes, www.gainaco.com. If you go on there and you type Gambia Parliamentary, you will get a free electronic copy. For now, it is free. We have some support to publish about 10 publications from MSDG.
Okay. 10 editions.
Yes, 10 editions.
So if it is monthly, so in the next coming 10 months.
Yes, we have about 10 editions.
One would say it maybe you are very ambitious. You could make it quarterly.
Yeah, we could make it quarterly, but there's so much that is happening. Kexx knows.
That's so
like
much.
even in 1 month, we struggle.
Just like waiting, asking me to wait for weekly.
Yeah, we have to cut out some. The ones which we cut out, we'll just put it on the social media so that nothing is missed. But in the 1 month, sir, the amount of things that happens, it's so much.
So there is no dull moment in the parliament.
No,
despite all whatever we think.
We always see parliament when we go to plenary, but what happens in the community
outside
and oversight functions, are too huge. Like presently, some members went for a tour before this extraordinary session. They have to cut up there.
So we are about to go to to Africa and ECOWAS
Parliament, APC Parliament. So you have so many. And our size of our parliament is very small. So you look at almost everybody is in a committee. One of these international committees.
That's right. And these international committees are very lucrative. They hardly, no one wants to miss that.
And I just want to highlight something, the importance of this. It's not just us to come and just talk about it. The things that I've highlighted, which we've been involved in, myself and Kexx and other journalists. For example, if we go to Bundung and we shed light on there, we had an interview there. Right now, they are trying to fix Bundung Road. You understand?
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things we want actual real impact to happen to the Gambian people. So that's why we are encouraging supporters who think that, this is a laudable initiative. They can come and support. We want to go. And when they are also doing positive things, we highlight it. It's not just the altercations between one member and another one.
Of course.
There are also positive things which are happening there too.
Okay, finally we're already caught on these two topics. Dubai, UAE, have imposed a visa ban on 20 countries that include the Gambia. Most of them in Africa, but the Dominican Republic, I think that's in the Caribbean, something like that. We are getting, what seemed to be clarification. I mean, we tried to get the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the time, they said they did not have communication. But other countries confirmed that yes, there was a visa ban. There are now interpretations now that actually the visa ban is the 30-day visa and not entirely a visa ban. But then it comes to the same thing, because most Gambians, 99% of Gambians who go to Dubai, whose pictures you saw on Facebook, they use this 30-day visa. So it means that if there is ban, 99% of the Gambians who go to Dubai are no longer going, not on that condition. And the other conditions, the 60 days and above, are not easily met. So technically, we can still say that this is a visa ban. Why do you think the UAE will come up with that kind of a decision? Well, of course, they did not explain officially, but then the line we got was that this is because most of these countries' citizens violate the 30-day stay given to them by overstaying or try to pick up illegal employment.
Yes, I think obviously this is very bad for Gambian business owners. A lot of Gambian business owners, they do go to Dubai.
And tourists.
Yes, of course. But a lot of people are, very interested in traveling there. But my take is that this is a calculated move from them. We were chatting about this off air just before we started, and I think that the World Cup coming very soon, yes, in Qatar, which is just very close by, has seen a surge in tourists. So when you say for tourists, for us perhaps, but for them, they might be experiencing a boom.
Yeah. Didn't they say 6 million people go to Qatar? Qatar, and Qatar is next door
exactly.
to Dubai.
So I believe that perhaps after, because when they are saying that, that means that they maybe feel like they have an oversaturation and there's more competition. And every country, is only Gambia who doesn't think about their countries, their citizens first, So perhaps they are trying to safeguard that. But I want to believe that after the World Cup, they most likely would relax those, those bans and then allow things to come. But it goes to show you, and we cannot deny, Gambians, we are very notorious for violating
visa conditions.
Visa conditions. That As much as I sympathize with the situation,
I
and I think it's not fair.
consul officers are not listening. Kexx, you heard about it?
Yeah,
you
definitely.
go to Dubai or
No, I have not. But for me, like, it's ban. Ban is just ban. You just want to justify it. But for me,
because some people interpret it.
It's not a ban.
The journalists need to explain well. But you know, the thing is, the 30 days visa is what 99% of Gambians use.
A ban is a ban.
So if you say that
you restricted that, and then you are banning
then
it
you are
because that's
banning
what they
Gambia.
can because this one requires
technically it comes to the same thing.
The same thing. So for me, that is. But I think it's the government who should engage this authority to know, or they should come out.
Oh, by the way, did you see the radical approach suggested by the Gambia Action Party?
Cut diplomatic ties.
Diplomatic ties. But they engage them now.
That is far-fetched.
Yeah, that, you know.
As usual, you know, because Mr. Bachile.
The most smart thing to do in any country, though we don't have visas for them coming. You see, this is another thing.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so if we had visas,
we had disadvantage from the beginning.
Then what happens? If you cut my visa, I cut your visa. That's just how things should actually work, because it should be equal, you know, not
interest.
I reject your no more visa ban, and then now you cut diplomatic ties.
The caveat on that is that we need them more than they need us, economically and everything wise.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it will have an impact on those who are doing business, because these are people that go monthly or almost every 6 months.
I mean, yes,
you see them traveling to go and
buy things and bring
it back to the country. So those people don't go and stay for long. So if you are giving them the 60 days, and in terms of financially, this will be
they have to meet criteria
more than this one, and all the criteria might affect the business parties in this country. So I think the government could engage them to look at and let them make sure that there are laws. If you come there must be a system in place. The moment your 30 days elapse, they can actually find you where you are. When you are going, you have to show your address where you will be residing. They track you actually. They know that they track the 30 days immediately it's finished, rather than just banning it completely, because some people don't intend to go there completely for 60 days.
The rather unusual silence of the government on this matter. I mean, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs only said they are yet to be officially communicated. But people in the same countries in the same scenario have already reacted. I don't know.
It goes to show you how fast or how slow our officials are, because, you know, for them maybe they feel that it does not affect them individually. They have their diplomatic passports and the likes, traveling here and there wherever they feel.
But at least you expect them to come out to the public and say, well, we have got this now, or we had it, but we are not officially. Well, they try to say they are not officially. Perhaps they are waiting to be officially communicated. But other countries in the same pool have reacted.
It's very similar to other actions that affect Gambians abroad, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, the Libya thing.
Yes, before we move on to the U.S. Embassy thing, let's talk about it.
So I think
what is the state of the people stranded in Libya?
Well,
over 100 of them, is it?
Well, the last I saw, according to the government was saying that it was about 100 and we've got it right here, 165. Yes, but unfortunately, it says 165 had already secured exit visas, and they are ready for the next chartered flight. 52 are homeless.
Oh, homeless?
Yes. Okay. So that was what was in the government statement. And then soon after that, the flight was supposed to be on the 28th, which is not...
That was yesterday?
No, 28, 20. They were supposed to...
That's quite 10 days
that's
ago.
Some days back. But until now, that flight has been postponed.
But was the government's position that flight... Did the government announce it should become on the 20th?
Yeah, it was saying that, but that flight is now postponed.
But that's what the government said. Oh, yes. You had it from
So they are saying 5th November. So now... 5th. The issue that I'm trying to highlight is the pace. We talk about the speed of which the government responds to citizens' concerns. You see, from the 20th now, they've moved it to the 5th of November.
15 days.
5th of November. It's like, it's long, and people cannot be able to wait. You know, when people are...
Did they explain what led to the cancellation?
They haven't been as forthcoming.
Where do you get information that now the flight will be on the 5th?
Yes, we got that information.
From the international
it's on the statement.
International migration?
Yes, it's on the
government statement.
Yes, it's on the government statement. It says here, a chartered flight was earlier scheduled for 12th October. It's actually in here, but due to logistical reasons, the flight was postponed. We also got another information.
Then it's explained, it's logistical.
Yes, so this is unfortunate. To 5th November, the last one that I saw, they also pushed it all the way to 5th of November. That's another update actually on top of that. Okay. So it's too long. It's taken too long. It's taken too long for government to address concerns of citizens. And I think, what's the situation in Libya? Is it that why can't the government go in there?
Well, the problem with Libya is the lack of a central government. I think to be fair with the Gambia government, it's going to be very difficult to coordinate things like this when you don't have a fully functional central government. That would be, you see, most of these places in Libya are held by militias. And I, from what I have been learning report, most Gambians are detained by mafia groups or some traffickers who want to demand money. They will create a kidnapping scenario just to get money from your parents back. That has become a booming business there. So some of these people might have been victims of traffickers, and the government is trying to.
The problem
I think
is,
to be fair with the government, that's a laudable initiative to get them flown home.
I think it's still, I would beg to differ, because this Libya thing has been a problem for a very long time.
Yes.
This is not the first time which we are talking about Libya and Gambians stranded,
but the government
stuck there.
But the government has not asked anybody to go there. People went there on their own. So
of course, but this is why you have foreign affairs.
Absolutely.
You see, you have to identify, these are the routes, these are the areas. It's all obvious that Gambians are going through that
Absolutely, true to go to.
And we've been showing before.
Almost all of them went through there.
If you can remember, the problem I have is that every few months, we are going to have the same similar outcry.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
They will show you videos of Gambians. The last time, if you can remember, they were Gambians, they showed videos of so many of them.
Yes.
And they were being butchered and being beaten.
But you know, those are done by gangsters, like I told you. They wanted the people back home to be disturbed and work quickly on money.
Paying their money.
Yeah, those are the kind of things, yeah.
So we should have a presence there.
Exactly. But then it's difficult to have an effective presence when the whole place is destabilized and you hardly have a central government. You know, that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is.
So then a logical conclusion would be next door. Have a base next door. It shouldn't take you to.
And the next door.
Shouldn't take you how long should it take you? You know, you should have this. You should have a strategic positioning, so that at least if something is to happen, you want to respond.
Yeah.
Other countries.
It's not easy.
Would definitely be responding to this.
Yeah, sure. Well, there are bigger resources. I know Nigeria and others. If they are willing to go, they will get you out. Finally, the government, the Ministry of Justice, announced that they are now, in principle, ready to negotiate with the United States government for them to have 25 hectares of land we believe used to be, well, currently housed in the ITC. Now it's been changed to West Africa, whatever. But it needs to be International Trypanosomiasis Center, ITC. That's where we know it. Some people call the whole area Monkey Park or etc. Whatever it's called, but it's 25 hectare, and the government is ready now, in principle, to negotiate with the Americans to sell it. They didn't say what price, but then they said it could also involve building a new place for the ITC, whatever its new name is now. One person, Fatou, the leader of the GMC, has spoken out. He said, well, he didn't think the sale would definitely be, seen to be a fair deal for the Gambia. Yeah,
I had the minister. Yeah, I had the minister over West Coast when he was having an debate.
He talked
about this issue, and he said actually what has been portrayed on the social media is far different from what is on his table. For now, he said there is an intention of American embassy, wanting a place, a permanent place, and this is accepted. This should be accepted because he made a justification. Gambia have their own embassy in other places where they buy their land.
But certainly not 20. According to May, we cannot get that kind of
land there.
25 hectares in Washington?
No, that's not. So
unthinkable for Gambia, isn't it?
He made this justification and also went further to say that actually they didn't even agree on terms so far. They are just discussing, and it needs so many requirements because even the place, if it is identified, people who are occupying that place, you have to engage them.
That is the ITC.
Find a place for them, and those need to be compensation in terms of the movement of them, in terms of logistics and other things, and that has to be part of the contract. So they don't actually have a concrete agreement with the US.
But there's an intention.
There's an intention that they requested that they want their own
office, their own land where they can build their embassy. He said actually that happens, but they are still working on the agreement. They didn't append any agreement.
I think when this initial rumor emerged on social media, I think what's on Gambia, I think government came out with a press release denying that Monkey Park, suggesting that Monkey Park was never been sold as a reserve area, whatever. It does seem to be a change of position now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that they said they are definitely ready or have now an intention to sell it.
Definitely. Environmentalists are really
up in arms.
Yes, up in arms about this.
Okay.
Because this is not what they envisage with regards to the United States being a partner which would be a respectable partner that understands the environmental conditions and the importance of environmental protection. And they, they are always supporting those kind of initiatives, even if you go and you check. So they are not happy. The environmentalists have written a statement condemning this government,
this intention,
yes, to give the land, which they believe Monkey Park. I believe it was the same thing, because Save the Monkey Park has been a movement since the OIC.
That is the Sadauda Conference Center.
Yes, center was also.
But how long should we be in struggle between human beings and animal for development?
So that means that we should make sure that we give a particular section for them. And it's also part of tourist attraction. We don't want to lose these. They are species which we have to protect. It's all part of the ecological fabric, which also is important to our environment. I think there are ways to do it. I don't think that we even have. Let's not even try. They say that they are going to relocate these.
Yes,
species,
the ITC, whatever its new name is.
Yeah, and all this. Those things don't work. Whenever you do relocation, you lose.
Where are you going to relocate?
Yes,
right now?
where are you going to relocate?
Not in this area.
And even when you relocate, there are some things which you lose when you are relocating, because you cannot take everything. It's not like you can just come dig the ground with all the animals in and hold them like this. And just
it used to be a very important center for research for scientific organizations around the world. There was this Nama cattle breeding research. I mean, Gambia was a center for. Well, of course, Sadauda Jawara was an animal enthusiast, so he was very proud to have ITC here. But I don't know how much of relevance now is it.
Well,
it's there, but I think that's a very good institution. Like the support that it needs actually because I could remember reading and I found out that by then we normally even supply the Brazilian with this cattle. We normally do that, but now you go to the ITC, you find out you can count the heads of cattle out there. And this institution could have been used to supply us even the yogurts that we are selling at the supermarket and the chakris that we are selling. They could have produced all the milks, but I think they lack that concentration. Now moving them again to another far away from the greater Banjul area is another issue that will be another problem.
That will relegate it irrelevance to the dustbin.
Definitely. So I think that it should not be a good move, and I think we have Faraba. You go to this Faraba and it's going towards
the Americans wouldn't like to go to Faraba.
So this is the problem.
They better stay at
pipeline, rather than going to that thing. But I think we should, like Greater Banjul area, we should now actually forget about selling lands in this area and keep them for. We make sure we maintain the institution.
I think before we get into trouble, we make it clear that we are not anti-American. No,
we are not.
We are just talking about how the best practice could have been. And like you said, environmentalists have made it
preserve our environment too. It's very, very important. And these animals, you see, after the building of the OIC, you could see these animals.
Yes,
they move into compounds.
They get killed, in fact, on the highways
because of they have been
the habitat is changed.
So before they start getting used to those things, they are forced to go out.
Because, they get killed by motorists. All the time I see I always say, wow, this one is deliberate. But sometimes, of course, the monkeys will cross the road, and they will leave the driver with no choice. But then, yes, the habitat is destroyed, so they naturally have to come home. I remember the Commonwealth delegation during the last election. They stayed at the Coco Ozone, and they were really amazed that they were living next to monkeys around their hotels. They found it very interesting.
A little bit of experience perhaps for them.
Yeah, they had a little bit of experience.
I just received some information which is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
On the issue which we were talking
just
about.
The Libyans or
yes, the Libyans.
The visa or the Libyans?
On this is dated 28 October, which is
just yesterday, was it?
Just yesterday. So this is new information.
What did he say?
So it is highlighting that the IOM is coming to assist them with two options.
Okay.
The returning migrants from this region are at liberty to choose from. The options are return without reintegration support for returnees with immediate effect to 31st December 2022, and return with reintegration support for returnees from 1st January 2023. Now, the question is this supposed to say that they are supposed to wait a little bit much longer? So it's quite...
Is it that the support will come in January, or
so it's
only in January,
or they
will be here and wait for the support in January?
Yeah, it's IOM because it's even
international migration.
It's saying how in a bid to ensure continuity of the AVR, the Assisted Voluntary Return and Reintegration program, the IOM is developing a new project expected to commence in January 2023. So, and the thing is titled the Returns from North Africa.
Yeah,
and they're talking about Libya and all these things.
Yeah.
So
maybe they would come and wait for the whatever support comes in.
It would have been good if we had somebody from the ministry.
But I'm sure they will
come to explain to us what are they going to do.
We'll have to push them.
What happened to the flight of the 20th? Is it the 5th November?
But they said logistics. They've already explained the logistics.
So now is the 5th November still going on?
That's the question we should push them now.
Let's see what's going to happen.
Yusuf Tello, Flexstan, Kexx Sanneh, Kexx, thank you all both very much for your insightful contribution in this edition of the Brunch. We will be back next week. Until then, on behalf of these two gentlemen, thank you very much for watching.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.